Hi Stampers, Patsy here again. Thank you for joining me again this evening for part 2 of our Facebook party. I hope you enjoy this as much as I do. I know I love sharing with you, and this time I decided to do the videos and do hopefully our Facebook party, watch parties working. I'll know by this video because it lets me interact a little more with you. It's a little hard to do that on Facebook Live for me. I'm not very multitasking, I guess. Tonight I'm going to share with you a stamp set made with the Jar of Flowers stamp set, which is part of a flower for every season. You can see there is a flower for every season. I'm going to be also using the Itty Bitty Greetings, the happy birthday from the Itty Bitty Greetings. And I'm going to be using the frosted and clear epoxy droplets for our card as our embellishment. Can't set them too far away. We're going to be using the Poppy Parade and the Balmy Blue and the Poppy Parade Light Stampin' Blend. And earlier today I shared with you about the greenery embossing folders. Tonight we're going to be using the other embossing folder that's part of that pair. And of course you can see that the jar has a punch. You can buy these in a bundle. Remember, when you buy them together in the bundle, you save 10% on both the stamp set and the punch. So there's a little savings there for you. We're going to be using some of the new in color ribbon. This is the Bumblebee. Really, really nice ribbon. Ties easily, lays flat. It's great ribbon. And for this project, I'm going to be using the die stitched rectangles. Now this is like almost a staple die set that you should have in your collection. It gives you all these different sizes. Plus, again, it can give you a frame because the part that's cut out is also stitched, and so it makes, you can do little frames, all kinds of variety of things with this stitched rectangle set. Now the paper I'm going to be using is a Flower for Every Season paper, and you can see there are flowers for almost every season. There's even one hiding in there for poinsettias for Christmas. So I cut the 8.5, I cut the 8.5 by 11 paper, 5.5 by 8.5, and then I cut off 3/4 and scored it at from here over to here at 4.25. So this is going to be our card base. And I'm going to take a little bit of the designer paper. I've chosen a striped pattern for this card. And I've cut it so the stripes are going to go horizontally and give us a little accent piece that kind of, you know, is the inside of the card but shows on the outside. It's always kind of fun to do a little bit of that. And then I've embossed this piece. Now you can do the embossed or debossed, and for this card I've chosen to do the debossing side of it. So I'm going to put a little multi-purpose glue here on the edges. I don't want to get it too close to the edges, but close enough so that it, you know, the embossed paper curls a little when you emboss it. So, and I chose to add it to the front rather than emboss that little flap, just because it's a little easier, gives a little more stability to this piece of emboss. Sometimes when you emboss it, it kind of breaks down the paper, and so this gives it a nice backing. So we have, that's the front of our card. Now I'm going to stamp on here. This is, we're going to stamp our jar. I need to get my jar out. Something I love about, you can see I've been using this with lots of reds. Something I love about the new photopolymer cases is Stampin' Up's printed this design inside, so you know exactly where to set those pieces back, and you know if one's missing, which is a great advantage. So I want to put my jar on here. I need some little for my stems. And I'm going to grab this little bigger one for my flowers here. Now we're going to start with the jar is red. Oh, I need the little water piece too. You can see that you can make the jar a different color with these little, this is what's called a reverse stamp. So you can use either the part that's cut out or the back side. So I'm going to put this down. I don't want those little lines on, so I'm going to stick it this way. I'm going to ink up our jar and we're going to stamp it right here. And then I'm going to ink up what's going to be my water, and I want to off stamp it because I don't want it quite that dark. You can see how that would be quite dark on here. So that's going to make it look like I have some water in there. Now I want to add these little stems, and so I'm going to stamp those like that in the water. And I'm going to punch that out. So we're going to go in here, going to slide this in here like this, line it up where it seems to be right, punch it down, and we've got our little jar there. Now to make this a little simpler, I've pre-cut out my stitched rectangle, and I want my jar about here. So I'm going to make a little pencil mark. I'm going to put my jar there, slide it down just a little bit, and make a pencil mark, because now I know that's where my flowers should about go as I stamp them. So I'm going to stamp them. And I don't want to get my head in the picture. So I'm going to stamp right here. Oh, good. I wasn't sure how much I would have messed that up. And now I am going to attach my jar here with some dimensionals. So we're going to put one here and one here. And I'm going to line that up with my little pencil mark there. Now I've pre-stamped this and I cut out just these two flowers. I wanted to give this a little bit more dimension. And I'm demonstrating the card this way to show you that just because it's outlined, even though I love to color, doesn't mean you always have to color that stamp set. Because sometimes you can be overwhelmed and think, oh, I gotta color all that. So I put 2 rows of dimensionals there, and now I'm going to just line this up over those other flowers. I didn't quite get it, so I want it just to be, there we go. Now, we could leave it like that, we could put it on our card like this, but I am going to do a tad bit of coloring. And I'm not sure what I would call this. It's called scribbles, because that's what I'm calling it. But I'm not going to color in these, even all these flowers, because I'm kind of sometimes short on time. But also it gives us some color and dimension, but we can be kind of casual about it. And you could, and I think it kind of looks kind of neat. Now we're going to add this to our card front. I'm going to just stick this on here like this. And I'm going to stamp my little happy birthday in the Poppy Parade ink, if I forgot to tell you what color red this is. Ooh, I got it pretty straight, but I didn't get the A very good. I'll try it again in the back and see how I do. I think the first one's better. Okay, so I'm going to cut this here. This is just a You know, I could take one of the little dies out of the thing, but we're going to just do it this way. And I have my mini dimensionals in my drawer, but rather than grab them, I'm just going to cut off a couple of these on the edge. I always use all those on the edge. Oh, and I need to take that one off because it's going to overhang. So I only want one on here like that. And we're going to add some of these. Now on the other one I had the shiny, but I'm going to try the frosted on this one and see what I think. We'll compare in the end and I'll see which one you like better. I kind of forgot there was frosted and unfrosted. So I don't know if one, might be hard to tell on the video too, which one is which. But I'm going to tie a bow. And I have a video online showing how to do bows. So if you are curious, you can always go to my YouTube channel, Stamps to Die For, and see how to tie a bow with a fork. Or a recent video I did shows how to just tie a bow from scratch like that. I'm going to trim my ribbon, grab my glue dots. We're gonna just put that bow on there. Now I stepped up this card, so I'm gonna show you the other ones. We're gonna go backwards. Afternoon video I stepped up, now we're gonna go step down. So I don't know, you can see the frosted or the unfrosted. I don't know which ones I like better. But you can see in the stepped up one, I've added the other color of ink for the water. I've added the bow, and that's pretty much the difference between them. In the first step, we have a very plain monochromatic. This is not really monochromatic, but just stamping that all in one color. I actually think for, you know, somebody that doesn't have a lot of supplies, this is a very cute, simple card, and just stepping it up a bit as we go. So that is our 1, 2, 3 cards tonight. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you enjoy the rest of the Facebook party, and happy stamping!